Russia has carried out a major attack on Ukraine today, Saturday, 26th of July 2025. This time, a hospital was attacked. Artillery fell on a hospital with a good number of patients. The fatality rate is expected to increase. And just on Friday, which happens to be the 25th of July, Zelensky was actually knocking at the doors of European nations, begging for money that the salaries of soldiers working or fighting at the battlefield, the salaries need to be paid and the allowances need to be paid, as well as their bonuses need to be paid. So Zelensky actually is facing a serious cash crunch. And the question many people will be asking is, what has happened to all the billions that have been donated to Ukraine? Now, let me break down to you. When you hear that European Union or America has given Ukraine $5 billion as aid. Now, America does not give the liquid cash to Ukraine. What America does is that America gives a $5 billion to Ukraine through military equipment. Now, America takes the money and give to America companies, contractors. Now, these contractors are the ones that supply the equipment to Ukraine. So Ukraine doesn't get to touch the money per se. Ukraine gets to use only the equipment, and it is the same thing that Europe does. If Europe is giving 120 billion euro or 120 whatever amount they are giving Ukraine, they are not giving Ukraine in terms of liquidity or the desire, which is called the liquidity preference, the desire to hold money in terms of liquid form, or in terms of cash, than in asset or wealth. But rather, they are giving in the form of asset or wealth. So, which means that if European Union is giving money, they are giving it in terms of equipment. So Europe will take the money, give to their own companies, give the equipment now to Ukraine, and Ukraine use. And that's why ways in which Ukraine could get money is to sell back some of these weapons to the black market. That's how you see that some of these weapons end up in the black market, because Ukraine, in the version of needing money, will have to sell back some of this equipment to get the liquid cash, such that they can actually take care of their front line and actually motivate some workers. That's how the business is. So whenever you hear that UK, United Kingdom, donated 80 billion euro to Ukraine, just know that it is not the liquid cash, it is the asset. And because the money intend stay in their country, it's only the equipment that goes out. So now that Ukraine is in need of physical cash, Ukraine don't need weapons, they need physical cash. So I want you to watch this video.
Russia carried out an airstrike on a hospital in Ukraine's Kharkiv, leaving at least 14 people injured in the attack. According to Ukrainian authorities, a Russian glide bomb struck the tuberculosis hospital, following which it was shut down and the patients were transferred to other institutions. This strike comes a day after a similar attack by Russia on a residential neighborhood that killed 2 people and injured at least 33.
Tuberculosis patients are treated here. There is nothing military here, only cemetery and field near the hospital. That's it. What are they targeting?
Apart from that, President Volodymyr Zelensky says that Ukrainian forces are facing severe fighting around Pokrovsk.
There was a report on the operational situation delivered by Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrsky. All operational directions were covered, with particular focus on Pokrovsk. It receives the most attention. In the Sumy region, we continue to act in the border areas. I also want to thank all our units operating on Russian territory.
Also, spokesman for Russia, Dmitry Peskov, says that the chance of a meeting between the Russian leader and his Ukrainian counterpart was impossible in the short term. He also added that Kremlin will not agree to top-level talks before a potential comprehensive peace agreement is fleshed out.
A high-level meeting can and must put a final point in the settlement and seal the modalities and agreements that are yet to be worked out by experts. It is impossible to act otherwise. Is it possible to go through such a complex process in 30 days? Well, obviously, it is unlikely.
Meanwhile, the US and China hit out at each other at United Nations over the Russia-Ukraine war. The United States asked China to stop fueling Russia's aggression in Ukraine, while China accused the United States of trying to shift blame and creating confrontation.
If China is sincere in calling for peace, it should stop fueling Russia's aggression.
We urge the U.S. to stop shifting blame on the Ukraine issue or creating confrontation, and instead play a more constructive role in promoting ceasefire and peace talks.
In other developments, the United States has announced a $4 billion loan guarantee to Poland, which borders both Russia and war-torn Ukraine, for the purchase of American military equipment. While U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth hosted a quadrilateral meeting with Baltic defense ministers in the Pentagon, stressing NATO's military spending target of 5% GDP. The European leaders say they are ready to step up on security, having pledged big increases in military spending at a NATO summit last week. In addition to this, Georgia hosted a multinational military exercise with NATO troops despite its government facing growing accusations of drifting away from a pro-Western path and edging closer to Russia's orbit.